This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Cricket Night of Nights was on last night. We got the Alan Border Medal, and of course, that was taken out by Travis Head, and the Belinda Clark Award. And the thing is about it, Nathan.
Went to Annabelle Sutherland.
Yeah, she was amazing. What a year she had, taking wickets and making runs left, right, and centre.
Still in the team, too.
But
that makes the big difference.
Yeah, most of them. No one was at the, well, from the men's point of view, none of them were at the award because they were over in Sri Lanka. Couldn't they come up with a better time to be able to run this thing?
It's not something that people are putting their hands up to go to, is it? Because it's going to be. Is it interesting?
It's their night of nights.
It's on Fox Cricket.
How dull.
What do you mean?
What, watching people count out things about cricket.
Yeah, look, I mean, the problem with the cricket one, this is my problem with the cricket one, because I love cricket, obsessed by cricket, like such a huge cricket fan. But there's only like 11 players or so that are in the number 1 team.
Yeah,
so
that's
by the time you give out like one day player of the year, 2020 player of the year, best player of the year, test player of the year, bowler of the year, wicket keeper of the year, like everyone, it's like Oprah. You get a medal, you get a medal, you get a medal, you get a medal. Oh, none of you are here. You get a medal, you get a medal.
The one thing that Travis Head, which is a lot of people have liked because they remind him, I guess he reminds him of David Byrne. He's a little short guy with a mow. He's a knockabout bloke. He loves a couple of cans, which he showed.
But there's nowadays it's of kombucha.
Well, no, he goes hard, Nathan, and everyone just takes that all in. And then you've got Pat Cummins, who's the captain of that team, who's a bit more on the woke side.
180.
Yeah. And more people are leaning towards liking Travis Head probably over Pat Cummins.
Yeah, but we can like someone sinking some piss and also someone that believes in solar power.
Yes.
I agree with that, though. That's what I think, too. I think now there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
Like they all used to be Travis Head.
Yeah, that's right.
Whereas now we've still got Travis Head. Yeah. It's okay. If you want that, we've still got one of those.
That's right.
And a way for you to reduce your electricity bill.
Yeah. But also, we've got a Manish Labuschagne for you to work out. We've got all sorts of stuff.
Literally something for everyone. Mitch Marsh was interviewed because, of course, he was the reigning medalist, right?
He was the reigning medalist.
And now he's out of the team altogether and probably won't play Test cricket.
He's not in the Champions Trophy team that he has not won, been a part of, which they've won in recent times. And he's a bit dark about that, but he's got a back injury as well to work his way through.
He was funny, though, because he sort of said, it was pretty good that they could beat India with only 10 people in the side. And he was referring to the fact that he was in the team and not contributing.
Hey, Will, I want to know, as a performer, right, so we've got the IPL. For me, if I was ever to play cricket, which would never happen, but my dream would be to get to the IPL. So
that's where the money is.
And to be good enough that someone wants to drop $6 million on me for 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. Is there an IPL of comedy?
Oh.
Is there something that is so amazing?
Yeah.
It'd be like invited to Montreal's pretty good, isn't it?
That was actually pretty good.
And is it,
back in the day, that was an invitation-only festival, the Montreal Just for Laughs festival. So it was kind of so you'd go and you'd do shows with Jerry Seinfeld or Whoopi Goldberg or whoever it might be. So you would be amongst
that night,
the biggest stars in
when we're
comedy,
watching that and they're coming out on stage, that's in real. That's actually who was on stage.
Yes.
That's because I thought it was pieced together, but no, that's it.
So they do a series. So over like a week, they have these. The room is probably 3,000, 4,000 seats, a big theatre. And so every night they have a big show in that. So like they literally would be hosted by Dame Edna or Chris Rock or, Whoopi Goldberg did one of the ones that I did. Drew Carey did one of the ones that I did. But so all these huge American stars and those sort of people will be on the line.
And who was from Australia? You and who?
All over the world. I mean, Carl Barron was very big over there at the time. I remember doing a show. So they would often, this was the funniest thing about this festival as well, was I always said it was like almost like the anti-United Nations though, because they would invite everybody in, but then every show would be themed to your country. So then so basically there'd be like all these gala lineups, but then the offshoot shows would be like the Irish are doing a night and all the Irish people would go to the Irish night. So you'd fly halfway around the world to just do a show with a bunch of people you could do a show with
any other time.
And they always had these like slightly racist names, like the Irish one was called like O-Comedy or something.
The Australian one is just Struth. That's funny.
The Australian one was called Comedy Down Under. It was Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, okay.
And I remember one lineup one year was myself, Jim Jeffries, Adam Hills, Flight of the Conchords, and Julia Morris, and maybe Carl Barron as well. So it was it used to be pretty fun.
Was that like getting a phone call, like a restaurant getting a phone call saying, "Hey, you've got a Michelin star"? I was on my flight. This guy was being interviewed and he got a Michelin star, and he thought it was a joke, and he hung up on the Michelin people. And then they rang back and said, "No, you've gotten one." That would be akin to that, wouldn't it? So what was
getting that invitation?
That phone call? What happened after that?
To invite you.
It's interesting. It doesn't really. I mean, no one calls you direct.
No, it goes through your manager.
So but you get the word.
So by the time it gets to you, some of the funds come out.
But the invite itself.
Putting it on a list of 6 other things where they're just hey, you've got that thing with Gary on Thursday.
Yeah.
Remember Nathan, Nat, and Sean? They've just started on Nova
You're doing an ad
in Perth, and I reckon they'll be around for a couple of years. So
and
go
do you want to do an ad for Maxibon?
but getting that phone call, getting them to think you're being invited. It's like when people get invited to the Met Gala ball in America. That's when they've made it. Like that's when you've made it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you're in it, you don't really think of it like that. To be honest, all you're thinking about is, will my jokes work in another place? Like, what is it about this, country that is there going to be some local observation that I'm going to be able to find funny?
Okay.
This was the first one that I ever used as a joke over there, because all you want to do when you go to a new country is like, what can I talk about here? And then I walked into a sporting goods store they have in Canada that you might like, Shaun, because it's called Roots. And all their clothes have the word Roots on it. And so to an Australian overseas, knowing that their biggest clothing brand was called Roots, I was like, I reckon I can work with this.
Imagine getting there, I'm stocking, delivered from out the back in the Roots.
Yeah.
Your back door delivery.
Their children's wear section was called Roots Kids. I did not think was appropriate.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Sorry, guys, just fell on buttons.
Is it sport or is it traffic?
Well, that was just Sam buying me time because I was filling my face with some chicken noodles.
No, literally, the opener's about to finish and Shaun puts another mouthful in. And Nelly goes to Shaun, you've got to speak on the radio.
Shovels in a huge forkful.
Well, let's just touch base with the NBL at the moment, and it was just in the news, and there is concerns that the Perth Wildcats won't play their first final at home because they have been ousted by Kylie Minogue, who's booked the arena for 1 week to do one show.
Yeah.
Like, how much setup is there?
Yep.
Like, that's crazy.
Kylie Minogue is also being reported she's going to be kicking the Dockers out of their headquarters because she's using that for her dresses. Shaun.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It's a big blow up, isn't it? Really? She's got to play somewhere. They're going to play at the old Challenge Stadium, which is cool.
No, but they have too many members. So they've got
only got 4,000 people to be able to hold there,
10,000 members, and that holds 4,000 people, so that becomes problematic.
I mean, this is what happens when you're at a place that's also an entertainment venue. I saw Mark Arena. Hey, he was not happy.
No, well, the thing is, for the fact that they've block booked out a whole week. And for one night. And there are plenty of other instances where they have been able to turn that around really quickly. And certainly when the Wildcats play, that stadium is ready for another event by the end of the night.
I don't think it's clearly it's not a good idea to play at Challenge Stadium. You don't have the corporate facilities where you make all your money. 4,000 people versus 13,000, which they'll get. Obviously that doesn't make any sense. The Kylie factor with the arena, I think they're going to have to come to terms with each other. I'm sure Kylie, if you put it to her, do her people need a week? Can we find a day that works, be able to turn it around, which they do on so many other occasions? They do. And I think they'll be able to.
But if they don't, right, and you're saying the profits and all that get eaten up, then can't the arena, because they have said that they yes to Kylie, can't they do something with the rent? You know what I mean? Give them a discount on something to make up for that loss. I mean that's a possibility. Or if you want to get Kylie packed up, set up and packed down really quickly.
Working bee.
Get the gays.
Yeah.
The gays.
Yep.
We're not going to have Kylie unless you get in there and move that speaker. And we'll all be down there, Shaun.
No, I agree with that.
It's not that we want to be. Yeah, we have to be. It's in our contract.
It's a Kylie contract. Moving on to the NBA, and so much fallout over the Luka Doncic trade yesterday. And it was a bit weird, though, because you watch a lot of the news services and they said, look at the crowd going bananas and they're holding vigils and all this kind of stuff. They kept showing on all the news services the same thing, and it was about 20 people out the front of the arena.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's hardly, the outpouring of a whole city.
But he is a superstar of superstars, and for him to be able to be let go in the manner of which the general manager did that without telling the coach, Jason Kidd, did not tell him at all. He said, though, we are aligned, so I've made the decision for Nathan. We are aligned, and he's all for it because I know what he likes.
Is he, though?
Are you
Nathan?
for it?
I'm up for anything, Shaun.
It's been a while.
Let's do it.
I'll have a go.
Has anybody heard from the coach? Is he actually happy about this?
Yeah, Jason Kidd said he toes the company line and he understands where Nico Harrison, which is the boss, the general manager, where the motivation is and why the decision was made. And they're looking to win now is what the information was. Getting back to that, Luka was the star of the finals last year. He dominated the finals. But clearly his unprofessionalism has just put him over the edge.
So what would that do for the relationship between the coach and the
general manager?
Because the coach really should be in those decisions because that's an ingredient in his team.
Well, I would have thought so, Nathan, but they didn't want anyone to know in case it didn't come out. So it was just kept between two general managers of opposite.
But shouldn't the coach be in that?
And they mentioned that they'd been speaking about it for 3 weeks.
Shouldn't the coach be in that?
I would have thought so. He wasn't at all.
You'd be a bit filthy as the coach, I reckon. Like if you translate it to any other sport, if they trade away your best player, you'd be like, hang on. But my job's on the line if we don't win.
I know.
And you've just taken my best guy.
You better be bringing in like a cyborg or something.
They are bringing in half a cyborg because Anthony Davis is an all-star on both ends.
Really?
He plays
it was a
defense and
trade,
offense.
to be fair.
Yeah, it was a trade. But then yesterday there was a couple of other big names, and these guys mean nothing to you. But De'Aaron Fox, he's a star for Sacramento
I've got a
Kings.
poster over my wall, so he does mean everything to me.
He's got traded San Antonio Spurs. Zach LaVine from the Chicago Bulls, who Josh Giddey, a Giddey, Australian player, plays with. He's had a breakout season, so what do? The Bulls trade him. And he's on the block as well. And there's a few other deals that will probably go through. The big one is Jimmy Butler. And I spoke about Jimmy a couple of years ago because he played for the Miami Heat and has done for a long time. And their team's always just kind of made the finals, but when it comes to the finals, he literally takes over and gets them to a chance to winning a title with a team that aren't full of stars apart from him. And he said that he doesn't want to play there anymore, so he's basically not turned up to training for the last couple of months. He's been suspended twice just on the just basically forcing his side to trade him. So there's more people to come. I just want to ask you on this fact. So forget all those trades, the fact that it's the NBA.
I already have.
History says... So in Australian sport predominantly, and we look at AFL, right? So to build your team from scratch, you go through the draft. Fremantle have done it. They've got a really high team. The West Coast Eagles are going through that now. The only teams who have been able to plug and play, get a couple of players in and maintain their level has been Geelong and Sydney over the last 20 years. Everyone else has had to bottom out. So the LA Lakers in the NBA are pretty much the only team who go, no, we can't afford to bottom out. So they keep trading players in and out all the time, and they trade their draft picks. Would you rather be in a situation where you get the young guns and just watch them grow, or are you forever getting...
The thing is, the trade, there are way more trades happen in the NBA than happen in the AFL. People seem to, I don't know, you get maybe a handful of trades, but they're trading left, right and centre.
But I'd be so good.
They are. OKC, the best team in the comp at the moment. They're just built on their draft picks.
It'd be so confusing, though, as a player, just me. You've had a breakout season, right? So everyone's thinking, Josh Giddey, is that right?
He's the Australian guy.
Yeah. So, a great season, and then your team puts you up for trade.
Yep, that happened to him.
Hey, I thought I was doing well. You feel a bit. Would you feel unwanted, or do you feel like, wait, I'm a huge currency? Why don't you want me? What do you want instead of me? That would be.
It would depend where you're going. I think.
No, I think you feel really terrible. I'd think really terrible.
Yeah.
I know that they getting millions of dollars, but
we don't see our future with you.
And And Josh Giddey had that happen too, because OKC, the best team in the competition, started the end of the last season. He was in their team, one of the main players, and then starts the season. They just got rid of him.
He got to go from Oklahoma City to Chicago. That is a win.
Yeah.
That's a massive
But now
win.
Chicago got rid of their best player, and they're going to be tanking for the rest of the year.
Josh was going from where to where?
No, he went from OKC.
That was last season.
That was last season.
Yes,
for this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Nathan, all the professionals, they've been showing lots of highlights of, say, the big names in NBA, looking at their phone during the game and getting messages because that's what happened with Luka. So they all know, oh my God,
they'd all have those
commodity.
privacy screen protection things on their phone, wouldn't they? Because come on.
Yeah,
crazy times.
It's a big deal.
We'll
see what happens. The deadline in the trade period ends Friday the 7th, which is, of course, this Friday for us. It'll be Saturday morning.
And Paddy Mills got traded too to a new team.
Yeah, he is off
what is
to
it, his fourth or fifth?
The Clippers. Yeah, he keeps getting traded left, right, and centre. That's not a great feeling.
LA Clippers?
They're the LA Clippers.
The LA Clippers, Nathan. No, they're the nail Clippers, Nathan.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.